Hi everyone. Today we'll be talking about the new book, Fundamentals of Energy Efficient Lighting and Controls. Second book to be published under the AEE Press banner, with many more books coming in the future. So AEE Press is an imprint of our publishers, and we will publish titles that cover all aspects of energy, with many of them focusing on being foundational references for AEE certifications. I'm here with author Jason Livingston and editor Bob Henderson. And can you start by telling us a bit about your background and what inspired you to write the book?
Wow, okay. I started off as a stage lighting designer. Did that for about 15 years and then slowly transitioned into architectural lighting. I had been teaching lighting, both theatrical and architectural, for many years, and was frustrated, especially in the architectural textbooks, the way they treated it, lighting design more as lighting engineering, right? There wasn't a lot of discussion about look and feel of a space or language much beyond lighting techniques and foot candles. So in 2014, I wrote a new textbook, and with the second edition came out in 2021, I believe. That wound up falling into the hands of one or two of the guys who are responsible for maintaining the certified lighting efficiency professional credential at the AEE. One gentleman in particular, Bob Henderson, liked the voice of the book, the approachability of the way that I presented the material, and reached out to me initially about creating some study materials for the CLEP. But as we talked about this more and more, it seemed that it made more sense actually to write a new book that was less focused specifically on lighting design, which is what my first book, Designing with Light, is about. And one that was really for the audience of people who are taking the CLEP exam and other energy efficiency exams under the AEE banner. And so that's how we got to fundamentals.
And maybe, Bob, can you start by telling us a bit about your background and what inspired you to be the editor for the book?
Well, I've been in lighting for a long time and currently serve on the AEE CLEP test committee. I'm the chair, worldwide chair, and lead two groups for the CLEP preparation test, which is a certification test. And we in AEE, we did not have an up-to-date lighting book. So after buying and starting to use as a consultant Jason's book, we approached the question of would we be able to utilize a lot of his materials and edit this to focus on the audience of CLEP and the AEE lighting practitioners. So Jason did a great job of jumping through some hoops, and they said yes. So we began the process, and so we added a few things here and there as time permitted. We changed a little bit of the language to focus on energy efficiency practitioners who, so many of the courses the AEE offers have lighting in the curriculum. However, they don't specialize. There's only one course that specializes in lighting, and that's the one that I lead. So we think that this book is going to be of monumental significance for the AEE practitioners because of the fact that I would say 90% of the courses that are offered by AEE have some lighting in them. So we were able to get together. We already knew each other. And so it's just a continuation of expanding this. Everything worked out. So we're finally here. The baby is born, right?
So, okay, you mentioned the certifications from AEE, but regarding the book's audience, like who is this book for? Who would you recommend it to?
I think it's a good book for people who in their professional lives need to know about lighting design and about energy efficiency and about controls, about maintenance and about financial analysis of lighting systems, but are not necessarily starting from scratch and crafting an all new lighting design. So in my mind, that's a wide range of people, right? Manufacturers, sales reps, showroom personnel, as well as people that are working for ESCOs and are implementing energy efficiency lighting upgrades, facilities managers. I think there's a whole world of people that are not active lighting designers who still need this kind of information, and that's who this book is for.
Mm-hmm. So speaking a bit more about the book, your book stresses a balance between energy efficiency and occupant comfort. In your view, what are some of the most common trade-offs lighting designers face and challenges?
I think, one can easily go too far in either focusing on aesthetics, possibly at the expense of budget or at the expense of energy efficiency. But I think the thing that we see that's more common is that people go too far in their focus on energy efficiency and wind up creating spaces that, yes, technically achieve a certain light level, but where overall the lighting quality can be very, very poor. Right? Maybe it's a space where the light level is met, but the fixtures are glary. Maybe it's a space where the light level is met, but the color quality is very poor, and color discrimination amongst different objects might be very difficult. And so, yeah, so I'm really trying to speak to that audience and say, hey, yes, energy efficiency is your focus and it is important, but remember, you're lighting spaces for people. Yeah. You're not lighting spaces for watts and foot candles.
And like for older buildings, what factors should tip the scale toward a full lighting system replacement instead of just retrofitting existing fixtures?
I think the biggest thing is probably budget. It's kind of a known quantity that retrofitting should be viewed, I think, as a temporary fix, that you can get away from incandescence and you can get away from fluorescence with LED retrofit lamps or with retrofit kits. But inevitably, you're creating a situation that is not as energy efficient in many of the cases, and you're not addressing some of the other quality issues. So for instance, if an existing light fixture is glary, just changing the light source inside of it is not going to solve that problem. So yeah, I've always viewed retrofit kits as a stopgap, not as a final design solution.
Got it. So you mentioned LEDs. So LEDs have transformed the lighting world, right? Do you see any emerging lighting technologies or trends that could have a similar disruptive impact, or how do you view the future of lighting?
I'm from the design world. I don't always know what technology is coming down the road until the manufacturers start to make it available. I have seen laser LEDs being made available in theatrical lighting equipment. So they've come out, I mean, we've seen them for a while in things like high intensity projectors, video projectors. Now we're seeing them in theatrical equipment, and I'm wondering if we're going to start to see them in 3 to 5 years in architectural lighting fixtures as well. They seem to be have a longer life and to have less light loss over time. They seem to be as energy efficient or more so. So yeah, I'm trying to learn more about that, but there's not a lot of information available for us lighting designers, unfortunately.
Energy codes and like voluntary problems keep evolving. What should the lighting designers watch most closely in 2025 and beyond to stay compliant while still focusing on great design, delivering great design?
It's interesting. I would say over the past in my work 5 years, LED efficiency has gone up so much that, at least here in the US, complying with local energy efficiency codes is not that much of a challenge anymore. Not as much of a challenge as it was in the teens when we were still mixing in a lot of fluorescent. So I'm happy that we have a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more room to work. It means that we can perhaps be a little bit more decorative, or we can have more layers of light that can create more interest, and not run afoul of the energy conservation codes. We'll see what happens over time, as of course the watts per square foot or watts per square meter continue to fall.
So the book also covers energy audits. How do you recommend professionals approach lighting audits in a way that truly uncovers hidden inefficiencies or overlooked opportunities?
Well, there's one really simple way that you uncover lighting audits, and that's, you say on a watts per square foot or watts per square meter over in the outside the U.S. And we do offer two versions, the U.S. version and the SI version, scientific side. So if you have a certain number of watts per square foot, we find out what that is in a very simplified walkthrough audit. And then we see, well, what are the possibilities today, as Jason mentioned, with all of the increases in efficacy and with the not only the source but efficiency with the luminaires. So if you got a wide gap between where we are now and where we could go, then you have tremendous opportunity to save energy, excellent financials, and it's a win-win for everybody. If the gap is smaller, then that means they've done some energy efficiency measures in the past, but we can kind of measure that really up front. So then the lighting audit uncovers all the how-tos as far as what to look for, what to do, and so forth.
Mm-hmm. So how should financial analysis be framed when pitching energy efficient upgrades to clients who are more worried about the upfront cost?
Well, I'll just say that the most popular LED upgrade is the total cost of ownership. So it can include a lot of things such as rebates, maintenance, and of course the simple payback. And so it covers the life of the LED, so it gives you a really very quick perspective, simple on that. However, the life cycle cost or the net present value economics are better measurements and give you more information, and they also consider the time value of money. But today, Anna, with the way things are, LED is a no-brainer. I mean, the revolution is very mature. We're here, and so it's just really a no-brainer. In fact, we were actually into the second or even the third version of LEDs now, as Jason mentioned. So, someone really probably has been living in a cave if they are not using LEDs for most all applications. There's a few very narrow applications where maybe we don't use it, but very few today.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, I don't know, like, do you either of you want to add anything? Like, if you feel like I haven't covered something that would be relevant to for the audience to hear.
Well, I'd just like to say that the book, Jason did a wonderful job as the author of covering all the fundamentals, the up-to-date fundamentals that people need to be aware of today. It's no longer energy efficiency. Even though this is an energy efficiency course, we talk about health. We talk about safety. We talk about a lot of other color and a lot of things that, yes, on a watts per square or foot basis or measurement, the meter is not there. But what I like about what Jason has done and what we've done is yes, we're interested in energy efficiency, but not at the sacrifice of quality.
Yeah.
We want a quality lighting environment that is healthy, that considers all the metrics of today, and so that you have a well-rounded individual. And so that's something that I think the AEE is going in somewhat of a new direction, and we're the pioneers of doing this because it has not been done that much in the past. And what I like about it is the fact that since 90% of the curriculum of the AEE involves lighting, everybody needs to buy the book.
Yeah. So I was going to say what key message or mindset shift do you hope lighting professionals will take from your approach and from the book? And I think, Bobby, we already answered that. But maybe Jason, you can also say like key message or takeaway for the book.
Well, I think that the last industry survey that I saw, and it might be the last one that was taken, was around 2010. And it said that in North America, 90% of commercial construction projects or renovation projects did not have a professional lighting designer on the team. Right? That's horrifying to me. But it does say that, you know, electrical engineers, architects, interior designers, sales reps, and others who are involved in making these lighting design decisions, they need to educate themselves. They need to stay educated, you know, which means a continuing effort. And I am hopeful that this book can be useful for those people, right? And that it can be part of helping to ensure that we are lighting buildings and spaces for people and not lighting them for watts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. So you need to uncover the fundamentals to just learn what you need to learn. And then once you learn that, then it's step 2, step 3, step 4. And so the ultimate outcome is that the customer gets a much better quality job on their lighting, and many things are considered other than just watt busting.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Jason and Bob. I will link the book below for everyone to check out. And thank you again.
Good.